I'd like to introduce Dr. Steve Snigowski. He is he's earned his doctorate in United States history with a focus on United States foreign policy at the University of Maryland in 1977. He has had articles published in The World and I, Modern Age, Current Concerns, Zeitfragen, Telos, The Occidental Quarterly, Arab News, The Last Ditch, and elsewhere on subjects such as communism, political philosophy, World War II, and on the American war in Iraq. His focus on the neoconservative involvement in American foreign policy antedates September the 11th, and his first major work on this subject, The War on Iraq, Conceived in Israel, was published February the 10th, 2003, more than a month before the American attack. And so I want to present also Professor Dr. Snigowski is a parishioner here of this wonderful parish, St. Mark's, and his son, I understand, is teaching here at the school. And so the pastor was very happy to hear that he was going to be giving the lecture today. And so with that, I'd like to present Dr. Snigowski. Congratulations.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that nice introduction, Dr. Kelly. Well, today I'm going to be discussing my book that came out last year, The Transparent Cabal, The Neoconservative Agenda, War in the Middle East, and the National Interest of Israel. And that, I think, sort of lays out, that title and subtitle, lays out sort of the essence of this work. Basically, these deal with the motives, as I see it, for American involvement in Iraq and the overall Bush war policy in the Middle East. Now, first I might say that American war policy in the Middle East should be of concern to American Catholics, because the fact of the matter is the United States has violated and will violate Catholic just war doctrine. It already has in the war in Iraq, and it will if it attacks Iran. Many Catholics don't understand Catholic war doctrine, just war doctrine, but the attack on Iraq was unprovoked. At best, it was claimed to be a preventative war. Now, we know that was untrue, but even if that were true, that is not in keeping with Catholic teaching on when making war is just. The same would be the case with any attack on Iran, which also is not threatening the United States with any type of preemptive war, nor has it attacked the United States. Now, I might add that this concept, the Catholic just war doctrine, was essentially used at the Nuremberg war crime trials, the major ones of 1945, 1946. Numerous German leaders were punished for the crime of making aggressive war, which was considered at that time to be the primary crime of Nazi Germany. But I'm really not here today to discuss Catholic just war doctrine. I'm concerned with the motives for going to war. Now, I would say most Americans today believe that it was wrong for the United States to have attacked Iraq. Of course, they believe it was wrong generally for pragmatic or practical reasons rather than for moral reasons. Now, while there's agreement that the war was wrong, was actually detrimental to American interest, there are major differences as to what the motives for the American war in Iraq and also the succeeding the Bush administration foreign policy were. One popular motive is that American foreign policy is based on oil. Others claim it was Bush or Cheney's warlike personalities. Others have claimed it was representative of traditional American imperialism or white racism. Others have claimed the munition makers, the military and industrial complex were actually behind this aggressive policy in the Middle East. And some people do mention the neoconservatives in Israel. However, this view has been castigated as anti-Semitic and rarely appears in the mainstream. Now, I would say understanding the motives for American Middle East policy during the Bush administration is very important, because although the war in Iraq does seem to be winding down, at least American involvement, although that's not even certain, but it seems like it's sort of being de-emphasized. The talk is now about the need for an attack on Iran. And my position is that only by understanding the real motivation for American war policy in the Middle East will it be possible to prevent future American wars in the Middle East that very likely will be far more devastating than the American invasion of Iraq. Now, my argument in my book, The Transparent Cabal, is that the neoconservatives were the driving force in the war in Iraq and also the succeeding militant policy in the Middle East, and that the neocons were intimately linked with the Israeli right, generally called the Likudniks. I might point out that neoconservatism is generally described as a Jewish movement. There are Gentile members, and this group of neoconservatives strongly supports the state of Israel. The neoconservative movement emerged in the early 1970s as many Jewish liberals moved to the right as they saw liberals and the left taking positions which they believed were harmful to the Jewish community. These activities would consist of third world hostility to Israel as a colonial imperialist power, also anti-Semitism in the Soviet Union. And I must emphasize that throughout their existence, the neoconservatives have closely identified with the state of Israel. Now, I'm not claiming that this is some type of Jewish conspiracy supported by all or even most Jews. The fact of the matter is that the neoconservatives only represent a small percentage of the American Jewish population.